What if I told you the Cleveland Browns didn't just make a quarterback decision, but accidentally lit a fuse that could blow up their entire franchise? It started with one sentence, one casual moment. One father, proud and off the cuff, speaking about his son on a popular podcast. But that single sentence spoken by none other than Deion Sanders was enough to flip the NFL upside down, send fans into a frenzy, and throw the Browns into a tailspin of rumors, tension, and full-blown expectation. Shadur Sanders hadn't even touched the field. And yet, he was already dominating every storyline in Cleveland. All it took was a spark. And now, the entire sports world is circling. This isn't just hype. This isn't just fans being impatient. This is a franchise on the edge of a nervous breakdown. And the most dangerous player in the building hasn't even taken a snap. Because the moment Deion slipped that line on a podcast, everything changed. The Browns' future, their locker room, their fragile sense of control shaken in a matter of hours. But here's the question. Nobody in Cleveland wants to answer out loud. What if Shadur Sanders isn't just the backup? What if he's the storm that rewrites everything? Keep watching. This goes way deeper than you think. It was supposed to be just another fun appearance. Deion Sanders, the magnetic icon of football swagger, dropped by the New Heights podcast hosted by Travis and Jason Kelsey. The vibe was loose. Jokes, stories, charisma classic primetime energy, nothing too serious. Until it was. Because somewhere between the laughs and locker room talk, Deion dropped one line. Just a subtle, offhand comment about his son Shadur Sanders, who, by the way, just happens to be a quarterback on the Cleveland Browns roster. He didn't say Shadur should start. He didn't criticize the current QBs. He didn't demand anything. All he said was that his son's moment was coming soon. That was it. But for the NFL, for the chaotic, drama-hungry world of Browns fans, that tiny spark was more than enough. Within hours, the internet flipped into overdrive. Sports blogs twisted the narrative. Talk shows dissected every syllable. Headlines exploded. Deion says Shedeur should start for Cleveland, whether he actually said it or not. And just like that, a storm was born. Fans sprinted to online stores trying to grab custom Shadur Sanders jerseys before they even knew if he'd ever take a snap. Threads on Reddit, Twitter, TikTok, thousands of mentions. Sports radio lines were jammed with callers debating a QB controversy that technically didn't even exist yet. But maybe it did, because this wasn't just noise. This was a signal and everyone heard it. Analysts started scrambling for hot takes. Is Shadur ready? Is this disrespect to the current starters? Is Deion pulling strings behind the scenes? Suddenly, what started as a proud dad speaking freely turned into a nationwide debate about the Browns' future. And here's the catch. He didn't actually say anything controversial. Deion Sanders, with just a whisper of confidence, created an earthquake. He didn't have to demand a start, he just had to believe in his son and say it out loud. But this is Deion. The man doesn't just speak. He shakes the room. Because when he talks, people forget it's a casual thought. They hear prophecy, they hear pressure, and every front office executive, especially in Cleveland, starts sweating. The Browns thought they could quietly groom Shedeur behind the scenes, work him into the system, let the veterans take the hits, ride the ups and downs, and slowly prep their potential franchise quarterback. But once Deion spoke his truth, that luxury vanished. Now, every incomplete pass, every stalled drive, every broken play, it all gets filtered through one burning question. Why isn't Shedeur in the game yet? And the scariest part? That question didn't come from a fan. It didn't come from the media. It came from his father on a podcast. Casual to most, but catastrophic for Cleveland. Because once primetime speaks, NFL teams can't hide anymore. And what came next? That's when the wheels really started to come off. It didn't take long. After Deion's podcast moment went viral, the Browns tried to play it cool. Front office executives gave lifeless answers. Coaches downplayed the noise. Even the players acted like the story wasn't shaking the entire foundation beneath them. But anyone watching the games could already see the truth. Cleveland wasn't a football team anymore. It was a slow-motion identity crisis. You could feel it from the opening snap. Confusion in the huddle. Routes that looked like traffic collisions. Quarterbacks scrambling like they just opened a pop quiz without studying the playbook. Nothing looked sharp. Nothing felt in sync. And through all of it, that same name echoed from seats, screens, and sidelines. Shedeur. The Browns' offense wasn't just underperforming, it was unraveling. Dillon Gabriel, the college standout turned hopeful fill-in, looked overwhelmed in every direction. His throws were hesitant. His timing was off. The stage was clearly too big, too fast, too much. Joe Flacco? A steady vet on paper, but on the field it was like watching an old highlight reel buffering in real time. He moved like time was running slower around him. Dropbacks felt like daydreams. Missed throws weren't just bad, they were painful. Meanwhile, the team kept chanting their favorite phrase, "Trust the process." But whose process? The one led by a quarterback who needs a GPS to escape the pocket? Or the one that hopes Dillon figures it out while the season burns? Because let's be honest, the Browns' offense looks less like a system and more like improv comedy gone wrong. Every play feels like it's made up on the spot. Receivers crashing into each other mid-route, balls sailing into empty space. First downs becoming rare events, like once-a-month miracles. But here's the kicker. The defense? Oh, they're dogs. Absolute monsters. Week after week, they're out there breaking their backs, holding elite offenses to scraps, only to watch all of it crumble when the offense hits the field. It's like watching superheroes save the day, just to hand the keys back to clowns behind the wheel. They shut down top-tier talent. They force turnovers. They do everything right and still lose. You can see the frustration. After every defensive stop, the sideline energy plummets, shoulders slumped, helmets ripped off in frustration, eyes cold. You don't even need a slow-mo replay to feel what they're thinking. What more can we do? Fans feel it too. This isn't just disappointment. It's something colder. It's detachment. Week after week, they show up draped in orange and brown, screaming in blind hope. But by the third quarter, heads are already bowed, hands in pockets, scrolling through phones like they gave up mid-drive. And that's the scariest part of all. The Browns haven't just lost games, they've lost belief. What's on the field isn't a rebuild, it's a cycle of disaster wearing a new jersey number each week. And somewhere, behind every 3 and out, every fumbled snap, every sideline stare from Deion Sanders, sits a growing truth no one in Cleveland wants to say out loud. The Browns don't know who they are anymore. Because when stability looks like Joe Flacco and hope looks like a rookie in waiting, you're no longer building a future, you're delaying the inevitable. He hasn't thrown a single pass in an NFL regular season game. No highlight touchdowns. No sideline celebrations. No viral sound bites. Just a helmet in hand, eyes locked on the field, and a presence that's impossible to ignore. Shadur Sanders isn't playing. But he's absolutely everywhere. Every time the offense collapses into another 3 and out, every time the receivers throw their hands up asking, where was that pass even going? The cameras don't linger on the coaches. They find him, standing tall, calm, unbothered, watching like a surgeon studying a slow-motion car crash. And the message hits loud and clear, even if he hasn't said a word. I see it, I understand it, I'm ready for it. He's not pacing, he's not sideline hype manning, he's not acting like a rookie waiting for scraps. Shadur is absorbing the game, cataloging every mistake, every misread, every break in protection like he already knows the system better than the guys running it. And maybe he does. Because this isn't just another backup biding his time. This is a quarterback raised under pressure, trained in chaos, and polished beneath the spotlight since day one. Colorado may have introduced the public to him, but according to those behind the scenes in Cleveland, he's been making noise in the film room from day one. Coaches say he's quiet, but dangerous. Teammates say he watches everything, says little, but commands attention. And in a locker room that's cracking under the pressure of bad football and brutal expectations, that kind of energy, it spreads fast. Some players have started whispering, it's only a matter of time. They won't say it in post-game interviews or in front of cameras, but you can feel the tension. There's a divide growing. Part of the team is clinging to the old plan, trusting in the veterans, hoping they can survive long enough for things to click. The rest? They've already started believing in what's next. They see the fire in the fans' eyes. They hear the chants. They feel the shift in energy every time Shedeur walks onto the field, even if it's just during warm-ups. And for the coaches, it's a nightmare. Because the moment they bench Flacco, or give up on Gabriel, the pressure to commit to Shedeur fully becomes volcanic. No turning back, no excuses, no more stalling. The fans don't want development anymore. They want results. Now. And, like it or not, the clock is ticking. Every press conference brushing Shadur aside just makes the next bad drive sting harder. Every "he's not ready yet" speech sounds more like fear than strategy. Because truthfully, he already looks ready. Maybe not in stats, maybe not in reps, but in presence, in mental grip, in that cold-blooded quiet he carries without saying a word. Shadur Sanders already walks like the starter. And that might be the biggest threat of all. He's not trying to take the spotlight, he's simply waiting for it to catch up to him. From the outside, the Browns are trying to keep it together. The sound bites are clean. The coaches stay on script. We trust our process. The players nod through interviews, throwing out cliches like "next man up" and "we've just got to clean it up." But inside that locker room, different story. Beneath the surface, something's been shifting. Quiet, subtle, but undeniable. The kind of tension you can't measure in stats, you can't see it on the score sheet, but you can feel it in the hallway air before a team meeting, in the cold stares between position groups, in the extra few seconds players take before answering reporter questions, buying time, choosing their words carefully. Because the locker room isn't split on if things need to change anymore, it's split on when Shedeur should take over. Some guys are still loyal to the plan. Veterans, mostly. They've seen what happens when locker rooms turn on themselves. They've seen losing seasons spiral into full-blown implosions, and they're really trying to toe the line. Support the starters, trust the process, but even they can feel the current pulling them in. Because no matter how steady they try to be, the signs are everywhere. You can't hide a sinking ship when the water's already at the knees. Every week, the offense hits the field and lays another dud. Every week, the defense saves the day, then watches the lead vanish in real time. And every week, all eyes flick to the sideline, where Shadur Sanders is just standing. Calm, icy, unshaken. The whispers have started between snaps, guys nudging each other during film sessions. Did you see his reaction? He had that read before the play even developed. He's sharper than they think, man. The younger players? They're all in. They've watched Shadur command respect with nothing but preparation and silence. No drama, no ego, just readiness. In the gym late, in the film room early, moving like he's already got the job, just waiting for the official handshake. And every cryptic tweet from his dad, every sly quote in an interview, it only adds fuel to the fire. Because Deion's not asking the Browns for anything. He's not knocking on the door, he's smiling from the sidewalk, knowing it's already about to swing open. Coaches upstairs are feeling it too. Their team talks no longer start with motivation, they start with damage control. Block out the noise, stay focused. Shadur's time will come. But the truth? That time isn't just coming, it's sprinting full speed toward them. The Browns are no longer making decisions with clarity, they're making them with fear. Fear of throwing him in too early. Fear of what it means if they bench the vets. Fear of the backlash, if they get it wrong. But fear isn't strategy. And right now, the Browns are walking on eggshells, trying not to wake the revolution already brewing inside their own locker room. Because deep down, they all know it only takes one more loss. One more dead drive. One more missed opportunity. For Shadur Sanders to go from whisper to roar. It started as fan speculation. Now it sounds like a damn countdown. Every missed throw, every stalled drive, every time Joe Flacco short arms a deep ball or Dillon Gabriel folds under pressure, the ticking gets louder. Tick, tick, tick. It's not just the fans hearing it anymore. It's the players, the coaches, the media. Even the cameras seem trained for it already, cutting to Shedeur every time the offense sputters, like they're waiting for the movie's lead actor to finally enter the frame. Because the Browns aren't just struggling, they're unraveling in front of millions of people in real time. Every snap has become a referendum on who's still standing between this team and its future. And that future has a name. Shadur Sanders. Gabriel looks like he's aged 5 years in 5 quarters. You can see it in the way he exits the huddle uncertain, twitching out of rhythm like the field is changing around him. He's not playing football anymore, he's surviving it. And the terrifying part? Players can feel it. Defenders who are putting on all pro-level performances just to keep the scoreboard manageable are starting to resent the offense. And why wouldn't they? How many more games are they supposed to save? How many more goal line stands, strip sacks, clutch stops will be wasted with 3-and-out drives and missed checkdowns? It's becoming a joke, just not the funny kind. The team came into the season with structure, with expectations, with a plan. But now, The vibe is shattered. The balance is gone. The locker room has become a waiting room, and the guy they're all secretly watching is standing in silence with a helmet in his hand, cool as ice. Shedeur isn't saying anything because he doesn't need to. He's already done the loudest thing you can do in pro sports. He focused. He prepared. He stayed ready while the ones ahead of him stumbled. And while the media tries to frame it as just rookie growing pains or time to develop, fans aren't buying it. They're tired of waiting. The emotion is boiling over. Chants are starting during games. Put Shadur in. Put Shadur in. It started as a slow ripple high up in the nosebleeds. Now it rolls down into the lower bowl like a thunderstorm. The cameras shake. The mics pick it up. The coaches pretend not to hear it, but they do. And you want to know who else hears it? Shedeur. But he doesn't react. No shrug. No smirk. No sideline outburst. Just that same look locked in, all business, eyes scanning the field like it already belongs to him. Because for Shadur Sanders, this is the moment he's been chasing since before the draft. Every bad snap, every missed block, every audible that dies halfway through the play, it's all building the case for the moment he steps in and everything flips. Fans don't want patience anymore. They want answers. And every blown drive is just more evidence screaming one thing louder and louder. Time's up. There was a time when the name Joe Flacco meant something. Super Bowl champion, veteran presence, the calm in the chaos. But that time? It's long gone. Now in Cleveland, Joe Flacco has become something entirely different. Not the solution, not the mentor, and definitely not the future. Instead, he's become the symbol of everything frozen in place. Every time he steps behind center, it's like the entire game slows to a crawl. He drops back like he's moving through mud. His footwork stutters like an old, scratched DVD. And when the pocket collapses, Flacco doesn't scramble, he sinks. Watching him is like watching a refrigerator try to salsa. It's stiff, awkward, and you already know exactly how it ends with a sack, a checkdown, or a prayer lobbed into double coverage like a hope and a half. And still, somehow, the Browns staff points to him like he's the adult in the room. But here's the thing about leadership in the NFL. You have to lead with production. Not locker room speeches. Not film room quizzes. Plays. Results. Wins. And right now, Flacco is leading the Browns straight into limbo. He's that last flickering light bulb the team refuses to turn off. They know it's barely working. They know better options are sitting right there on the sideline. But they're scared to admit that this chapter is closed. Because stripping that veteran presence label off Flacco means admitting the future has to begin. And in Cleveland, admitting that means one thing. It's time for Shedeur. But the coaching staff is still clinging to the past like it's a life raft. Flacco gets chance after failed chance. And the crazy part? The numbers don't lie. Drive after drive dies in slow motion, and nothing changes. Mistakes pile up, momentum Ds. And they still roll him out there again because he's experienced. But experience without execution is just a slow death. And Browns fans? They've seen too many of those already. Watch the crowd next time Flacco jogs onto the field. You won't hear cheers. You won't even hear hope. You'll hear silence, that cold, awkward, stadium-wide silence that says, "We've already seen this movie. We know how it ends." When Flacco throws a pick or stalls a drive, the camera doesn't even cut to him anymore. It cuts to Shadur Sanders, helmet tucked, calm expression, slight squint in his eyes like he's analyzing every frame. Not pacing, not posturing, just watching like a storm patiently waiting for the final cloud to move away. Flacco isn't the villain here. He's not playing awful because he wants to ruin the Browns. But the truth is brutal. Joe Flacco isn't the problem because he's bad. He's the problem because this team refuses to accept that he's done. It's not just about poor throws or slow-motion scrambles anymore. It's about a franchise too scared to chase the future because admitting Joe Flacco isn't the answer means facing the terrifying reality that maybe it's Shadur's time already. And that realization? It's getting louder by the snap. If Joe Flacco represents the past the Browns can't let go of, Dillon Gabriel is the future they tried to rush before it was ready. When Cleveland brought him in, the hope was simple. Just hold the line. Be a placeholder. Let the defense go to work while the offense played conservative, safe, and out of the headlines. But safe hasn't worked. Not against real NFL pressure, not against playoff-worthy defenses. And definitely not under the weight of a crumbling franchise. Gabriel came in polished and precise from his college days, fast release, mobile legs, lots of promise. But the NFL is a different beast. The windows are tighter, the rush comes faster, and your potential means nothing once you're under center. Every time Gabriel drops back, it looks less like execution and more like desperation. The moment the pocket folds, his internal clock just breaks. He either panics and takes a sack or launches the ball toward a ghost of a route that clearly never developed. And now, he's not just learning on the job, he's unraveling. In front of an entire city, pocket awareness gone, field vision cloudy, timing off by a second that feels like 60. You can see it on film. You can see it in his body language. The game's too fast, the pressure's too much, he's in survival mode now. Every snap feels like a man dodging bullets, not a quarterback running the show. And while the staff keeps pushing out phrases like, he's developing, the fan base is done waiting. They aren't seeing growth. They're seeing regression in HD, every Sunday, one broken drive at a time. The Browns wanted him to be a bridge, but what they got instead is a landslide. Opposing defenses don't respect his passing threat. They're loading the box, blitzing him relentlessly, daring him to beat them with his arm, and every week he fails to make them pay. At this point, it's not even a fair fight. And right behind that constant collapse, standing tall, untouched, unshaken, is Shadur Sanders. Helmet in hand, calm as ice, reading the defense before it even sets, watching every coverage, every busted play, every moment Gabriel panics. Shedeur is filing it away in his mental playbook. He's not calling attention to himself. He's not politicking behind the scenes. He doesn't have to. Because week by week, drive by drive, Cleveland is making his case for him. The whispers aren't whispers anymore. They're chants, demands, full voice. Start Shedeur. Now. The fans see it. The locker room feels it. Even the media, once hesitant to stir controversy, is floating it openly on talk shows. This isn't just preference. This is a plea. Because the Browns have tried everything else. The vet with the heavy feet. The rookie with the shaking hands. Now, it's time to try the one guy who hasn't flinched through this entire mess. The one guy who looks more ready now from the sideline than either quarterback has looked all season on the field. Shadur Sanders isn't waiting for a handout. He's just waiting for the Browns to stop avoiding what they already know. The moment he steps in, the story changes. The only question left is, how much longer can they stall before the city turns on them completely? It happens before a single pass is thrown. Before the first snap, before the headset clicks, before Deion Sanders even posts the next cryptic quote. The city already knows. You can feel it. The shift. Because there's a moment every football city has it where frustration boils over. But in Cleveland, it doesn't just boil. It erupts. When Shadur Sanders finally jogs onto that field, it won't be subtle. It won't be quiet. It'll be a detonation, the kind that resets everything. The cameras won't need commentary. The roar will say it all. The dog pound won't cheer, they'll scream like the gates to salvation just burst open. This won't feel like a QB substitution. This will feel like a franchise resurrection. Every slow-motion Flacco dropback, every panicked Gabriel rollout, every busted play that sucked the life out of the locker room, it all leads here. Because this moment isn't just about football anymore. It's about belief. And belief in Cleveland? Well, that's rare. It's fragile, it's battled, it's been broken more times than the scoreboard can count. But somehow, this kid, this rookie, this outsider, this untested prospect with swagger in his blood and pressure in his DNA, he's brought it back. Not through hype, through presence. When Shadur steps on that field, it won't be about proving doubters wrong. It'll be about proving that everyone already knew he was right. Right for this moment. Right for this city, right for this mess. And the craziest part? He won't need time to find his rhythm. Because this, the noise, the drama, the pressure, this is his normal. Shedeur's grown up in the spotlight, built for prime time, sculpted under expectations most rookies couldn't survive. He's played through hate, through doubt, through being compared to his father. Every single snap, he never cracked. So what's a little Cleveland chaos? He's not walking into fire, he is the fire. And the moment they finally let him burn, the entire city's going to feel it in their bones. One throw, that's all it will take. The first bullet pass across the middle. That smooth delivery, that icy stare down the field, the crowd won't just react. They'll detonate. Coaches won't be able to call timeouts fast enough. Commentators will stumble over their stats. Opposing defenses? They'll feel it too. The stadium rising, the Browns actually believing again for the first time in years. Because this moment doesn't belong to Joe Flacco. It doesn't belong to Dillon Gabriel. This is Shedur's moment, but it's Cleveland's awakening. He's not just stepping into a huddle. He's stepping into a narrative that's been loaded with heartbreak for decades and flipping it inside out. And once it starts, there will be no going back. Not for the team, not for the fans, not for the city. Because once Shadur Sanders makes that first throw, Cleveland becomes something it hasn't been in a very long time. Dangerous, hopeful, and finally, alive. When Shadur Sanders steps onto that field, it won't just be a quarterback change. It'll be a gamble the entire franchise is placing on one name. If he succeeds, he becomes a legend, the rookie who walked through wreckage and rewrote a cursed legacy. The Browns become a team reborn, fueled by swagger, purpose, and belief no spreadsheet could ever measure. But if he fails, he joins every almost this city has ever buried. Another name on a long wall of heartbreak. Another flicker of hope that got swallowed by the same cycle Cleveland fans know too well. There's no middle ground now. No, maybe next season. This is it. The moment where one snap could turn Sanders into a savior, or remind the world that Cleveland's curse is still unbreakable. But something feels different this time. The air's heavier, the crowd's louder. The belief? Real. Palpable. Because this isn't just a football story. It's a reckoning. A challenge to fate. Shadur Sanders isn't stepping in to be another player. He's stepping in to be the turning point. If you can feel it, that pulse, that tension, that quiet before the storm, then you already know this isn't just about Shadur Sanders. It's not just about Deion's podcast line or Gabriel's collapse or Flacco's fading fire. It's about a city that's been waiting far too long for something real, something explosive, something worth believing in. And whether you love the Browns, watch them crumble, or just came for the drama, you're watching the beginning of something massive unfold. And trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next. So if you feel like it's finally time, smash that like button. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Is Shadur the answer? Too soon? Or is this the moment we've been waiting for? Share this with a football fan who needs to see the truth. And above all, subscribe right now because the next chapter is coming fast. And when that helmet finally slides on, the whole NFL's gonna feel it. This isn't just football. This is history in real time.